All right, so you would help
Things you would do in the store.
Papaw to.
Right. That's where I had my first allowance. Earned my first allowance was in the store with him, or my only allowance, because I married Cokie when the store was still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you got married. When did you get married?
In 1954.
1954. Okay. And so the store was. You were still working at the store at that time.
I was helping Dad, yeah, at the
Okay.
store, yeah. But I was in high school and involved in so many different things that I didn't work as much as I did before, in there.
And so the general store it had. You mentioned there were towels as well as
Oh, they had clothes.
produce and.
Had clothes, he had men's khakis and shirts and dry goods, like all the dry foods, and then our meat counter that had meat, and Mother would go down and work in the store every day by 1 o'clock because Dad had to meet the mail, and he worked in the post office because he was the youngest postmaster in the state of Texas at that time. We finally saw.
Oh, Papaw was.
We found his paperwork after he passed away, and we were cleaning out that desk, and he was awarded the youngest postmaster in the state of Texas certificate.
Yeah. And so Papaw took over after his father passed away.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they died in 60.
Or 1950, I think. Our grandfather King and his wife. And so
the 50s.
I think 1950. It was before my mom was born.
Oh, it was
That year.
That same year.
that year because we moved up to Doug Judge's house, which was across from the big house
Oh, okay.
at that time.
And y'all moved there like you and Cokie did?
No,
Or-
Mama and Papa and all of us did.
Oh, y'all lived in Uncle Judge's house then. That was.
Yeah, because Mother was taking care of them across the street.
Oh, Mama would go and help take care of Papaw's parents.
Right, and she was pregnant with Linda. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah. And then my appendix ruptured because we had the Kiefers come over and help. They were helping because I think they had passed, Grandmother and Granddad King had passed away, and were moving back up to the old home place now. And so one of the girls, I think it was Vivian, the oldest girl, was helping. And so Mother and Dad said, go back up to the house and y'all can start supper and we'll be up there shortly. So we went back up to the house, and that's where I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling good at all. So then later that evening, the Dad came up there. Mother and Dad came on up. They'd gotten everything moved back up to the house. And I can't remember if I started vomiting there, but Daddy put me in the back of that Kaiser, and it was called a Travelall, Kaiser Travelall car, and it made a bed in the back, and he put me in that, and away we went to Pearsall, and over that gravel road. It was just old gravel all the way into Pearsall from Divot then.
Oh, wow.
And so my appendix ruptured going in.
Oh, wow.
And they had, and I didn't even remember it, but they had one of the McKinley boys working on the oil rigs out in that area at the time. And then he went into the service and became a doctor. So that's who they had working with me on my appendix when I got to Pearsall, the hospital. And it was Robert McKinley.
Did they have to remove the appendix in Pearsall, or did they have to take you up to San Antonio?
No, they did everything right there in Pearsall, and they were already ruptured.
Mm-hmm.
And so he ended up placing a tube for the drainage, and Mother had to pull it out a little each day and clean, and it came out so soon that it sealed over on the outside. The incision did. And so an abscess formed. And the first surgery, I went in there, and Dad pulled some kind of a chair up because it had the glass, what they call transom, up at the top of the door into the operating room. And he pulled that up and looked into that operating room on me. And I remember them giving me an ether, because that was in the days when they used ether for anesthesia, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And, oh, I was so sick. I remember coming to, and I was so sick from that ether. And I had begged for Mother to come in with me, and of course they wouldn't let her, because I was 13 then.
Oh, were you 13 at the time? Wow.
Mm-hmm. And so, anyway, we went home, and after so many times, I can't remember how long I was at home away from school, they said that the kids at school said they had heard I'd died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they did. But anyway, and that tube came out, and so back to the hospital in Pearsall we went again. And they were going to have to give me ether again, and so I started screaming and crying because I didn't want that to have to happen again. But anyway, I ruptured that abscess because an abscess had formed inside with the poison that had stayed there. But anyway, that was that story.
That's an unforgettable experience for sure.
Right, yeah. I was 13 when that happened. So that was my first hospital experience.
Wow.
The second one, actually, but, yeah, both of them at that hospital in Pearsall. And,
So you mentioned earlier that Mama would help take care of grandmother and grandfather King
until they passed away.
Until they passed away.
Mm-hmm. And she was big pregnant with Linda, going back and forth across the road every day to take care of them. And because all the...
Do you recall what type of ailments that they had in their...
Granddad King had heart problems.
Some heart problems?
Yeah, I think he had a heart attack. And Grandmother King had been bedridden since I think Dad said he was 16.
Oh, she had been bedridden for that long?
Yes.
Do you recall what may have caused that?
I don't know if she
Was it like a physical
stroke.
ailment, or was it maybe like a stroke? Okay.
Yes, yeah, because they would bring her to the big table when they were still the girls. Most of the girls, and Uncle Maury too, I guess, were still there.
Oh, still living at home?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, maybe the younger ones were.
Like Aunt Merle and Aunt Patty and Uncle Maury?
Probably, right.
Okay.
Yeah, Uncle Maury may have gone into the service by then. But anyway, he went into the Navy. She was in the bed, I remember her, and they kept her hair cut bobbed sharp, and it was black. It was so dark, I remember that. I'd go in to see her, and...
Was she able to communicate to you, or was she...
Yes.
Was she?
Yeah.
Able to speak? Because I know sometimes a stroke can cause them...
I think maybe that was in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She was just bedridden because they had her in a wheelchair, and they would bring her.
Oh, they would still put her in the wheelchair and bring her out?
Bring her to the table to
Okay.
eat and everything, yes. Mm-hmm.
And so she was able to still eat
Oh, yes.
on her own? She didn't have anyone have to spoon feed her at that
No.
at that point in time?
No,
Okay.
no.
And she was still able to speak and communicate
Yes.
from what you recall?
Yeah,
Okay.
from what I can remember. Yeah. I guess that was after 50. 1950.
And then Grandfather King, now she had a very lengthy ailment, because you said that Papa was about 16 when...
I was thinking that's what he said,
Okay.
but I don't remember for sure exactly.
Because you always remember her being bedridden from the time that you
Right.
came along.
Yes, yes, that's what I remember, yes.
And then Grandfather King, what do you remember about him?
That he was always so neatly and properly dressed, dress shirts and khakis, and but I remember Aunt Tiny most.
Oh, Aunt Tiny.
There, yeah, because she was be the one that would take me down, and she'd make biscuits, and Carolyn and Diana and well, I can't remember who else were there. Our cousins.
But Aunt Tiny taught y'all how to make homemade biscuits.
She made biscuits in the kitchen, and we'd all be in there with her, and after she cut the biscuits, and there'd be the little pieces in between.
Oh, some of the leftovers.
And she'd make little biscuits for us.
Oh,
And I remember that. Yes.
Oh, neat. And was that still when the King house was still standing?
Yes, that's where she would make it. Yeah, because it had what they call the breadboard, and it was part of the counter, and it pulled out of the kitchen counter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she'd make it on that, and that was, of course, low enough for us to see, when she was cutting the biscuits. I just remember her cutting the biscuits and making us the little biscuits from all the trimmings, out around the big biscuit cuts. So.
What do you remember about the King house?
I remember it was big. It had a hallway from the front to the back in there. Big wide hallway. And Granddad King's office, I guess, was part of it. He had his big desk in there. I think it was a roll-top desk that he had also. Cokie and I had one too. It was his uncle and aunt's. But anyway, Aunt Tiny would work with Grandma King. She was the one.
Oh, she would help take care of her as well?
Yeah, she took care of her mainly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember that. And Uncle Maury's bedroom was on the back. And I think the girls each had beds, because the front bedroom where Grandmother King was a big room, I can remember.
Okay.
And it had several beds in it.
Oh, did it?
Plus hers, yes. So they lived in that, the girls.
They stayed in the same bedroom as Grandmother King did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't remember exactly which one of the siblings was still there.
Okay.
Of Daddy's. So, but, and then Aunt Tiny would take me to the chicken yard, to the pen to gather eggs. There was a little basket with a handle that we put the eggs in. I remember her taking me out there. And I remember Granddad King they raised cabbage and produce out there too. And then they'd make sauerkraut.
Oh, homemade sauerkraut.
And of course he had a lot of Mexican hands that worked on the ranch and the farm. And I remember it being like crocks at both ends, and then it's long boards across, cutting boards across to those crocks, and they would chop the cabbage and put the cabbage in those crocks. And then whatever they put on them, I don't know what Aunt Tiny did, or they did, but and they put it in the smokehouse, put those crocks of cabbage in the smokehouse where they did smoking the meats and everything. But they'd put them out there and to ferment, to make sauerkraut.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and so she'd have to go out and check them each day.
And how big were the crocks that
They were, of course, I was little, but I remember big crocks.
And it was like wooden, made out of wood, or?
No, like ceramic, probably.
Oh, some type of ceramic? Neat.
Right, yeah. What else did they keep in those crocks?
Did the house also have a basement or a cellar?
It had on the front porch, yeah. It had a cellar, they called it. And that's where they stored all the produce that they'd canned and all that stuff. I remember Aunt Tiny going down there and getting stuff to cook for meals.
Oh, neat.
And she'd take me down there with her, and I'd go down there.
And so the cellar, was it just a small cellar to store things in, or?
Yeah, it was. That's what it was, I guess. And mainly, I guess it could have been for. I don't know if it was for storm purposes.
Oh, it could have been used for that too.
I
Yeah.
don't know for sure, but I know that's where
They would store the food.
the food that they put up and canned and processed. So
Did they have like dairy cows to milk, or?
yes, I think they did, but they didn't have. I don't think they had a dairy barn. They just probably had.
Maybe one
we
dairy
had-
cow to milk for the house?
For the house, yeah, because they always had fresh cream and
Okay.
everything, yeah.
Did you ever have to churn the cream or to make butter, or?
Yes.
Ah.
That was after we were back up at the house, and we had milk cows, so they'd milk and bring, and Butch and I would churn, and we'd sing, "Come, butter, come butter, come," as we churned.
Oh, really?
And we'd take turns, and we always wanted to be the one that was the last one when it turned from cream to butter.
Oh,
Churning.
do you recall about how long it would take?
No.
It seemed
I
like a
don't.
long time, I bet.
It did seem long, yeah. It did. But, yeah, we did that. We churned.
And then with the general store, if they sold eggs and stuff, was it just mostly local farmers who would bring their produce and eggs and dairy and so forth, or?
No, I don't think we had dairy in there. I don't think they had dairy, but they had a chicken coop out back of the store.
Oh,
And the chickens were in there, and then and of course they would bring produce and eggs to the store.
okay.
And Mother always kept the books, and of course she had to go down there at 1 o'clock every day during the week to keep the store, while Dad went in the little post office toward the back of the store and put the mail up.
Oh, neat.
And so, yeah, that was her duty to run the store. And
So part of the store was used as the post office.
it had a little post office room in the back with all the boxes on the wall, post office boxes.
And people just would come in and grab their mail?
From the outside, yeah, because they could open it and get their mail from the outside.
Oh, from the outside of the...
Yeah, out of the little room, because Dad would put the mail all inside the boxes.
Okay.
And that was his duty. That was postmaster duty.
Neat.
Yeah. And people had their own post office box. I think they had numbers on them. Maybe they had a number for their post office box.
And so after Papa had been postmaster and had responsibility of running the general store, you mentioned that Bill Whitley, Emma's husband, ended up leasing the store.
Yes.
What do you recall about that?
Well, I remember him. I don't remember much because I married and left.
Okay.
But I know he ended up leasing the store but never paying anything for it,
Oh, wow.
and ended up burning it down.
And then burnt
Starting the fire, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And so committed arson in order not to have to
Exactly.
pay lease on it.
Right.
Okay.
Evidently. And I guess he still drank like he did before.
He was a big drinker.
He was. That's why he and Aunt Emma had split years before. And then she moved into town because Dad had a teacherage there at the Dilly, across from the Dilly school. And Dad had that. And
Oh,
so
tell about the teacherage building.
at Divot,
What's the earliest thing that you remember about the teacherage, and what was it used for?
it was where the teachers lived that were teaching school there in Divot.
Oh, okay.
And then also the same thing with the one in Dilly, across from the Dilly school.
Oh, they also had a teacherage there?
Yes, and that's what Aunt Emma ended up living in, because Dad had bought it. Dad had bought that, and so he let Aunt Emma live in that,
Okay.
and that's where she lived.
And that's where she lived for
She
after the
moved
teacherage.
After she left the teacherage in Divot, she moved to the teacherage in Dilly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, which he had.
And eventually, Bill Whitley ended up, even though she separated from him, he eventually came.
He came
To
back
Divot.
to Divot. Yeah,
Mm.
he came to Divot. Yes, yes.
And that's where he started leasing the store and ended up committing
yeah, I
arson.
don't know how long he'd been there before he leased the store.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know how long he even had it before he burned it down, but he wasn't paying Dad anything for it. So, yeah, King's General Store and Post Office then no longer existed.
No. Yeah, do you recall about the Divot School? What was its original name? It had something to do with Leona, I think.
Well, the Leona River ran. That's what ran behind the river house that Papa and Joyce.
Oh, the river, yeah.
Yeah, that's the river that ran right behind the house.
But the Divot School, you said that you went there for a couple of years?
Yes, I think it was 2 years.
About 2 years. Because you started in Dilly School, and
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And then, so Butch is 3 years younger, so we went back to school there at Divot. So I must have been in the I don't remember.
yeah, so long ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And it's hard to remember, but I do know we just went to school there maybe a couple of years, school years, and that's all.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Dilly to school.
And you said Uncle Judge Birdwell at one point in time lived in Divot?
Yes, he came back from service. I can't remember exactly what he did. I think it was something with medics.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But he came back to Divot because he was Grandmother King's brother.
Okay.
Yes, Uncle Judge was. So that's why Granddad King, I guess, had him living in that house.
The one that we call Uncle Judge's house? Or was that a different house that he...
The one that we had lived in.
Oh, okay, the farmhouse that's
There.
y'all grew up in,
Right.
the main one.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then, I guess for some reason, then he had moved into that one that we ended up living up there too. His mother was taking care of Grandmother and Granddad King at that time.
Oh, okay.
Across
The one that's
road.
right across.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when or why they had why they didn't keep the old King house?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because it didn't burn down or anything like that, like
No.
the store did.
No.
They just stopped living in it and decided to tear it
was
down, I guess.
big and old, and I guess things were happening with it, and they decided to build that smaller.
Smaller house.
Yeah.
Rather than
More
fix up
modern.
the older house.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, I guess there wasn't any reason for that big house anymore for just her by herself, because everyone was already gone. All her siblings were already gone then.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because they all lived other places until they retired, and then they moved back.
Right.
Because Granddad King had left each one of them like 1,000 acres
Right.
of the land. Yes. So, yes, they all got part of the 10,000 plus acres that he had settled.
Wow.
Yeah, he had seen it because he was working with Colorado Mines and Engineers, going into Mexico to the silver mines and everything Granddad King did.
Oh, that's what he.
And
That
that's
was the
where
name
he
of the
saw
company.
That little chapel in Mexico that he ended up building.
Oh, he saw a replica of that.
Yes.
Okay.
And when his travels in Mexico, and he said that land, when he'd come back through, looked so rich. because he said the grass was belly high to the horses back in those days. And he'd come back in the Divot area, and so he'd come back, and so that's when he decided to purchase all that land.
All that land.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And speaking of the chapel, because I know the chapel, wasn't it built in memory of grandfather and grandmother King?
Yes.
What was
because-
there a church there before that one was built?
No.
Okay.
That's where he built, because there was a cotton gin. He had a cotton gin, and I remember them making molasses. They had a turn wheel outside the store there that the mules, I think, walked and turned that thing to make the sugar cane turn into
molasses?
molasses, yeah.
Oh, neat.
Yes. And that was still out there.
That equipment, even the cotton gin was still
The
out
cotton
there?
gin was gone before I was out there. But I know that's what Dad said. And he had built a cotton gin, cotton compress, I guess they called it too. And the dipping vat for the cattle to go down to, that may still be out there. I don't know.
Okay.
It was on the east side of the store.
Okay.
And he let people bring their cattle over there and run them through that dipping vat to use the whatever they did to keep the ticks and stuff off of it.
Oh, off the cattle? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it was deep. They'd go off of one end and then they'd come out. And it was a concrete, just so wide but long. And they'd drop them off into there and then they'd come out the other end. And so that was still there. Plus there was a big long barn just between Uncle Judge's house there, which was almost directly across from the big house. And Butch and I, when we were living up there at that house, we'd go into that barn and find little pink rats, baby rats in the darn nests in that barn. But Granddad King they raised mules for the military.
Okay.
And all their harnesses, I remember those long racks with those mule harnesses on them. And then I was told that he raised mules for the military to use.
Do you know what happened to the old barn that stood there?
I don't. It was metal, so I don't know if maybe one of the tornadoes or something took it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It could have.
And at
That
the
was a
general
big
store, I think we saw that little video, that short clip where it looked like there was some gasoline.
Right.
So they also had gasoline available?
And then they had a kerosene tank on the porch also. They sold kerosene.
Okay.
People used, because they used that in their stoves and things.
Oh, okay. To fuel their stoves?
Uh-huh. Right.
Was kerosene.
Uh-huh. And then the gas tanks, people would use that.
To
Not
fill
many
their
had
cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was neat, so. Yeah, so it was not just a general store, but a little mini gas station, I guess.
Right.
In the day.
Dad had everything anybody could need for their car, too, yes.
Neat.
Canned goods on the shelves in there, and toward the back, across from the post office, was all the dry goods, which was clothing and towels and washcloths and all that kind of stuff.
And you said Mama worked down there, so did they have to order like the canned goods and towels from some?
I don't
really know the details
know,
about that. Yeah.
because they did all that, and I don't remember. I just know they were there.
Yeah. Because I think Arthur said he would help stock some of the shelves, maybe.
Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that too. He worked in there too, I guess. But I remembered working in there myself, by myself, at that time, before I married, and that was in 1954.
1954. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What do you recall about? What can you tell me about the observation tower? What was its purpose?
It was to check on the planes that were flying in that area and writing the information of what time they saw it, I guess what it looked like, I'm not sure.
Just some of the details of what planes were flying over. So that means they had to probably use some type of binoculars or something.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it's in that one video. Dad's with the binoculars and Mother's already writing the information down.
Interesting. Was that just to observe in case of wartime invasion, or?
I guess it was. I'm not sure. I think it was more like that's what it was for. But I'm just not sure.
Okay.
Because I was probably, well, you were 4 when I married. Yeah.
And I remember Arthur mentioned about the Mexican schoolhouse, that there was because it was only white people who went to the main schoolhouse there.
Yes.
But apparently there must have been a separate schoolhouse for the Mexican community
Yes.
to use. Okay.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Because it was gone.
By the time that that y'all started going to school, it was already gone.
Yes.